Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're checking out the Play Kai Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Red XIII. So this is a very old figure. It came out in 2014 and it was the first Red XIII that Play Kai ever made. But anyhow guys, today we are taking a look, so I hope you guys will enjoy the video. And yeah, let's get into it. Alright, stay tuned guys. Okay, so first up, let's take a quick look at the packaging. So here's the front of the box. We have a very nice photo of the figure itself. And of course we have the logos for Final Fantasy VII and Play Kai. And then here's a look at the sides of the packaging. It's pretty much the same, we just have the logo of the film. And on the back we have a couple of screenshots of the figure in various poses. And then right over here we have a preview for Tifa and Barret, which are the next figures in the line. And so here's the inside of the packaging. And right over here we have a little bit of text. So if you guys want to read this, then feel free to pause and read. Just a little bit about the character and the film. And of course we have a super nice photo of the figure itself. And right over here we have a pretty nice window display packaging to showcase the figure inside the box. So one thing which is unique about the Red XIII packaging is the fact that the box is sideways, as you can see. So this is like a standard packaging for the Play Kai AC figures. As you can see, it's a pretty tall box, but the Red XIII is completely sideways. So yeah, I just thought I should mention that. Okay, so first up, here's how I display the figure. So as you can see, I've got Red XIII beside Vincent Valentine, Barret, and Sid. And just ignore Balthier, I just didn't have any space to display that figure. But anyhow, here's a look at how I display all of my Play Kai Final Fantasy VII AC figures. So yeah, for the most part, I think I pretty much have all the figures apart from the variants. But yeah, this is how it looks. So I do plan to make a review on every single figure here. So if you guys want to check that out, then they will be on the channel. And don't forget to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out. So with that being said, let's get into the review. Okay, so let's go right ahead and take a look at the head sculpt of the figure. I mean, look at that head sculpt, look at that amazing stare. I just love the sculpting of this figure so much. This is probably one of my favorite figures out of the entire Play Kai AC line. I just love the sculpting so much. The paint, just the overall design of the character is just amazing. Really beautiful figure. But anyhow, let's take a look at the details. So now one thing about this figure which is super cool is the fact that you can move the eye. So this is pretty much the only figure out of the entire line that has this feature. So pretty much you can remove the headpiece and you can rotate the eye, which I will give you guys a look at a little bit later on. But yeah, I mean, just look at all this detailing, like all the fur detail. And you can even see his teeth in there. He's even showing some gum and you can see his tongue. So just amazing detail for such an old figure. I mean, he's even got like the little piercing on his ear. He's got all these feathers and bracelets in the hairpiece. It's just such an amazing design. I'm just really glad that I picked this figure up because this is a pretty rare piece now. You won't find this figure that easily. And if you do find it, then it's going to be super expensive. So you know, I'm just happy that Play Kai made the remake version of Red XIII. Even though it's a much different figure, I think that a remake of this character was much needed. And also the hairpiece is made out of a soft piece of plastic, so it's kind of bendy, so I just thought that was a pretty cool feature. And he's even got this 13 symbol on his shoulder. Pretty nice paint job. I mean, it's a pretty clean paint job for the most part. I don't see any flaws with this figure. I mean, the articulation is pretty exposed on this figure, as you can see. It's very exposed articulation. But you know, it really doesn't bother me too much because it's such a nice figure overall. And he's even got these pieces of armor, almost like bracelets sculpted around the legs. And as you can see, they're painted gold and they have a pretty nice pattern sculpted in there. And here's a look at the paws, just in case you guys want to check them out. And there's a front paw. As for the back, it's pretty much the same. Once again, we have the bracelets, like these pieces of gold armor, and the legs with these really nice patterns sculpted in there. And here's a look at the tail piece. So now the tail is super nice because it's also made out of a soft piece of plastic, so it's super bendy. And there's also a metal wire inside the tail, so you can pose it any which way you want, and it will hold that position. And as you can see the flame, it's made out of a translucent piece of material, so it kind of gives off a nice shine in the lights, which gives it a really nice effect. And so as for the side of the figure, so this side's a little bit different, as you can see. He's missing an eye, and he's even got this massive scratch over the eye. Even all the decoration, like the rings in his ear, he's got 2 rings on this side, and he's also got a feather up there as well. So yeah, pretty cool. Very subtle differences, but I think it works pretty well. And there's a little close-up on the face. Once again, we have all the fur detailing and the hairpiece. Yeah, just so nicely painted. I just love the contrast. It's a very bright figure, so it just really stands out in your collection. And here's a look at the pattern on the other side of the shoulder. And as you can see, the body is made up of many different pieces. So some of you guys may not like this. You may not like the fact that the joints are so visible. But I mean, as I mentioned before, it really doesn't bother me too much. The figure is just so great that I love this figure a lot, despite the flaws. And once again, we have all these pattern designs on the legs. And we have these gold bracelets around the ankle piece. And this is a look at the tail from the other side. As I mentioned, it is made out of a soft piece of plastic, so it is pretty bendy. And this is a look at the flame. I just love the sculpting here. It looks pretty realistic, I would say. And so just a quick look at the figure from the front, just in case you guys want to check out the figure from this angle. So here's how the figure looks directly from the front. Yeah, it's a great looking piece. It's a very photogenic figure, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites from the PlayArts Kai Final Fantasy VII AC line. And here's how the figure looks from the back. Let me just get a top view of the figure as well. Just look at all that detail. Pretty amazing. So yeah, that is the figure from the back, and yeah, it's not the best angle, but anyhow, that's a look, just in case you guys wanted to see it. Okay, so let's take a look at the articulation for the figure. So now I've got to say, the articulation is super weird. I mean, I don't even know the name of some of these joints on this figure. But anyhow, let's take a look at what we have here. So as for the head sculpt, we have a ball joint in there. And it's quite a nice ball joint, it's not too restrictive. And as I mentioned before, the hairpiece is made out of a soft piece of plastic, so it's kind of bendy, as you can see. As for the jaw, so we have 2 hinge joints in here. So we have the lower jaw and we have the upper jaw. And as you can see, you can kind of expose the gums, which is a really nice feature. As for the neck, we have a hinge joint in there. As you can see, you can go forward and back. So now the joint at the shoulder is super weird. It's made up of like 2 different pieces. So we have the inner piece, which kind of is, I guess it's kind of on a hinge joint, which kind of folds out. And we have the actual arm itself, which is on a ball hinge joint. As for the elbow piece, it's on a hinge joint, and as for the paw, the hand, it's on a ball hinge joint. Same goes for the other arm. Now, as for the torso piece, it's on a ball joint, as you can see. It's pretty awkward to move these joints. They don't really seem to be made to be posed, so I don't really recommend moving these joints that much. As for the waist, it's also on it seems to be like a single hinge joint, like a large hinge. So now, as for the back leg, we have a ball ratchet joint at the back, as you can hear that. As for the knee, we have a hinge joint, another hinge joint at the ankle, and we have a ball hinge joint at the foot. And as for the tail, it's got a metal frame inside the tail, so you can pose it any which way you want, like so, and it will hold that position. I kind of just generally like to have it like almost like a half circle, like so, just so you can really see the tail. And there's a look at the flame, which is also made out of a soft piece of rubber. So yeah, overall, pretty good articulation for the figure. I mean, it is pretty awkward articulation, but it works pretty well. So yeah, that's a look at the articulation. I hope this helps. Okay, so this is a better look at the ball joint in the eye. So as I mentioned before, you can rotate the eye. So yeah, let me give you guys a quick demo on how you do that. So yeah, it's a little bit terrifying, so just bear with me guys. But basically you just pop off the headpiece like so. As you can see, here's the inside, which you can just about see the ball peg joint right there. So you can just kind of move that any which way you want, and it will hold that position, and you just pop the headpiece back on. And this piece right here is kind of terrifying. It's kind of like the half head of Red XIII. But I guess this is a better look at how you move the jaw. As you can see, it's on a hinge joint. You can see his teeth in there, you can see his tongue. It's pretty amazing detail. Very, very cool. And this is also a joint as well. I think it's a hinge joint to move the top of the headpiece. So basically you would just position the eye any which way you want, and you just pop the head back on like so. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing too difficult. You can really see how you can move the back of the head to expose the gums and the teeth. Very, very cool. And so last up, I just thought it would be pretty cool to show off Cat Sith beside Red XIII. So here's how they look. I mean, they look great. So yeah, Cat Sith does not come with Red XIII. You need to pick up the Sid Highwind figure if you guys want Cat Sith. I mean, you gotta pick up Cat Sith. They just look so great together. So that is pretty much it for the PlayArt Kai Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Red XIII. So yes guys, great figure. If you guys are a big fan of the character, then I would recommend picking up this piece. As I mentioned before, it is a pretty rare figure, so you may want to pick up the remake version of Red XIII, which is also a great figure, and it's much more affordable and easier to find. As I mentioned before, I will have a review on every single figure here, so be sure to look out for those on my channel. And don't forget to ring that bell notification so you guys don't miss out on all these Final Fantasy VII PlayArt Kai reviews. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, take care, stay safe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, take it easy guys.